Good morning. Welcome to today's edition of Off the Press. We take a look at the headlines and so you can make sense of it and we'll pick up the particular paper you would want to read. My name is Felicity Ezewike. I'll be writing solo today. We have a couple of papers. We'll start with the Vanguard newspaper. Rejig security. Keep off pension fund, Shemole tells Buhari. It has about 3 riders to that story. Says rate of poverty high, assures government will build on first-term successes. That's it on the front page for you. We also have my government has restored growth, curbed inflation. Well, I mean, if you don't speak your truth, who will speak your truth for you? It doesn't matter what the next person conceives. That's our president speaking his truth. He says his government has restored growth and curbed inflation. If you want to know details, if there is any, go to page 5 of the paper. And don't speculate. All right, we have insecurity. Afenifere demands timeline on restructuring. You find details of that one on page 11 of the paper. A bit of money matters here. You have Naira Watch. Naira depreciates to 361 Naira, 75 kobo to a dollar in the I&E window. You go read details on page 41 of the paper. Just beneath the picture where you have the Zenith at NSC closing gong, you will see U.S. travel ban on politicians, validation of electoral malpractice claim. That's Atiku Abubakar. If you've been following Plus TV Africa this morning, you would have heard a little bit more detail in our news bulletin. But stick around, there is more for you. In case you're unable to go get the papers, you find details here on Plus TV Africa. ACF to OBJ, you lack moral standing to exercise Buhari's, to criticize rather. You lack moral standing to criticize Buhari's handling of security. That's ACF to OBJ. Will assist executive arm battle corruption. That's CJN. We have a brand new CJN, by the way. Money matters there as well on the minimum wage. Save Nigeria from looming strike, Labour tells SGF. We flip to the top of the paper now. Let's see. There you have it. Ministers. Senate goes back to bow and go. Screens 10. 8 more nominees today. We have Abaribe. Have made Okpabio sweat. Dixon backs silver. Something on health and living. Drinking Zobo Kunu from used plastic bottles endangers health. You might want to go read that story, but common sense tells me that sometimes the people that do this thing don't wash the bottles properly. But who knows, there might be some more sublime message there. Go find it and read it on page 36 of the paper. Recapitalization. Insurers get deadline to submit plan orders. That's also on the front page for you. At the back of the Vanguard, we have sports. We'll just keep that for a little later on the program. We move now to the Punch newspaper. Let's see what's on the front page for you. Afenifere Ohaneze middle belt attack. ACF for protesting Fulani killer tag. That's it for you. Afenifere Ohaneze middle belt attack. ACF for protesting Fulani killer's tag. All right, you see Obasanjo has diminished his status as a statesman. That's the forum speaking. Allegations, rubbish. Afenifere group supporting evil, says middle belt. That's a summary of what you find on page 2, but you should read details so we don't. Sometimes these headlines could be a bit, jiggy. We also have the Okorocha situation on the front page. EFCC seals Okorocha's college, supermarkets, daughter's school. Go find details on page 18. Pictures of all the sealed properties on the front page of the Punch newspaper. American arrested for breaking key in airport workers' ear. We also have police arrived Lagos-Ibadan Road after suspected headsmen abducted CMD's son to others. That's the driver speaking. It is this thing about police, it's worrisome. This thing about police coming you know, when the action is over, the response rate is a little low in some areas, and we've been talking about this for years. It is hoped that when emergencies come, at least if you call, they should be there in maximum 30 minutes, because by the time you get there, somebody could be dead. Anyway, they will always work with what is available for them. That story that triggered my thought is police arrived Lagos-Ibadan Road after suspected headsmen abducted CMD's son, 2 others. That's on the Punch newspaper. FIRS generated 5.23 trillion naira in 4 years. That's Fola speaking a little bit of money matters. So you go to page 23 for details on there. At the very top of the paper, we have drama as Senate screens 10 ministerial nominees, Buhari's list, a mockery of anti-graft war. That's Yakasai. I saw a bit of that screening exercise, and at some point, I must agree with most of the analysts that the questions could have been deeper by our senators. The questions were just, most people would say, peripheral. Not as deep as should be, and the lack of, you know, attachment of portfolios to some of these senators, to these ministers, didn't make the job easy as well. Except for the ones that are returning, there wasn't really much question you could ask someone if you don't know what they're going in for. We're hoping going forward that Buhari will help and give a portfolio along with the ministers' names. Well, we're still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Ministers, lawmakers among 5 trillion naira chronic debtors that AMCOM speaking. FG won't renew expired oil block licenses. That's NNPC boss speaking. Go find details on page 23 of the paper. And we'll go back page now where you see my adventure in Koza, Thursdays with Abimbola Adelekun. That's on the back page of the paper. My adventure in Koza. You might want to go read what her thought is this morning. And of course, the warehouse that was gutted by fire in Doyin bus stop or relay in Lagos. That was on Wednesday. Firefighters there trying to put out the fire. All right, we go to ThisDay newspaper now. Let's see what is trending on the front page. Of course, expectedly is the senatorial screening, the ministerial screening rather, at the Senate yesterday. Drama, uproar at Senate screens Hamichi Akpabio, 8 others, as some riders protest over Lawan's shielding of ex-transport minister, exclusion of FCT from list. That was coming from Dinomalai, and one other person saying, no, there should be a minister from the FCT. Well, let's see what happens. Abari Bay to ex-Akwa Ibom governor, I would have made you sweat. He was asked to take a bow. For those that might have missed all the drama yesterday, he was asked to take a bow because he was a former member of the House, and that was something they all concluded. Even Mamura was also asked to take a bow yesterday. Mohammed sworn in as CJN says, I'll make judiciary better. That's him talking tough there on page 8. We'll find details. We go to the top of the paper. No, before we go to the top mast now, let's look just beside the picture of NSE Honor Zenith Bank. We have Oshomole to FG, rejig security architecture. Afenifere issues ultimatum over killing in Southwest. Okay, we flip to the top now where we have AMCON, Nigeria risks not recovering 5 trillion naira bad debt. NNPC suspends cash call payment to Italy's Eni, NPDC to take over operatorship of firm's assets, a UK Supreme Court to hear Nigeria's oil spill case against Shell. These are almost all the stories on ThisDay newspaper on the front page. Of course, you need to go read details to actually make sense of it. And on the back page, we have Imo State and related matters. Imo State and related matters, that's Ihedioha right there. And then we have Ikechukwu, that's the person writing today. What are his thoughts? You have to read, you know the drill. We go to the Nation newspaper now. Again, the Senate screening. Drama as Senate screens Amechi, Mamora, others. That's on the front page. Onu Akpabio, Akume, Ikazo, Oga, Adegbite, Adamu, and we're all cleared. Wajoba were also cleared. MTN retires chair, dossier 5 others. Eagles searching for goalkeeper. 2 Nigerians for Booker Prize. That's a nice one this morning. 2 Nigerian-born authors, Oyinka Brightwit and Chigozie Obioma, are on a long list of authors contesting for the 2019 Booker Prize of £50,000. That's a lot of money. Queen confirms Boris Johnson as the UK Prime Minister. That was also the big news yesterday. And of course, interesting, people were making comparison about the speed at which he went straight to work. People resigned, people were employed, appointed. And his cabinet is set. He's meeting his cabinet for the first time today. That is, leadership just getting off to a rocking start. Well, we wish them the very best of luck all there in the UK. We go to, let's see now, the top of the paper. Well, our aircraft fleet says air peace after incident, had landing likely pilot's error. We wouldn't know now, would we? I can find details on page 8 of the paper. EFCC seals off Okorocha's assets, choice properties for probe. Alrighty, on the back page of the Nation newspaper, we have Olatunji talking about before we become a cautionary tale. There's a picture of the late Precious Wolabi on the back page of the paper. Quite a sad thing for a young man whose life is just starting to be knocked off so unceremoniously. All right, we go on a very short break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at complete sports and, of course, the back page of the Vanguard newspaper. Don't forget our funny cartoon on the front page of the Vanguard. Stay with us. Good to know you're still with us. Off the press, still what it is here on Plus TV Africa. Now we'll just take a look at some of the headlines and sports stories and wrap things up this morning. Complete sports is what we have. Atletico want Griezmann deal cancelled. We also have Chukwueze. I still have a lot to learn. That's the man himself, I presume, there. We also have Rogers hails sensational Iheanacho as weight is lifted off Eagles forward. CAF confirms Eagles 2021 AFCON dates. Nigeria to host Republic of Benin in November. Enyama to undergo trials at Dijon. That's something for you. We also have Emery rules out selling Aubameyang. That's United ask for Ericsson updates. Those are some stories you'll find on the front page of the Complete Sports. On the back page, of course, is the Transfer Center, where you have all the deals making place. Arsenal to make new Zaha offer. That's something for you on the back page of the Complete Sports newspaper. And to wrap things off nicely this morning, we'll see what's on the back page of Vanguard Sports. Omerua rules out return to Chelsea. We also have ultimate search for Eagles goalkeepers on. Lampard has handed me Chelsea number 9 shirt. That's according to Abraham. That's it showing on your screen right now. We also have all Africa Games. Foreign-based athletes shun AFN trials in Kaduna. FIFA bans CAF official belated 10 years. That's some lengthy ban there. It takes care of sports on the back page of the Vanguard newspaper. And just before we go, let's, on a lighter note, look at Mr. and Mrs. Cartoon on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. We have the Mrs. speaking, and she says, "Oh, so your friend's wife traveled and he has taken one of those herbal concoctions for sexual performance. It's called Power Bank, dear." The husband replies, and she says, "Okay, now that he has become so powerful, let him use it." You need to really read this again to get the joke. Thanks for watching Off the Press this morning. Go ahead, have a productive day. My name is Felicity Ezewike.